You're charged with driving while your license is suspended. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine.
The expired registration as of December 2023 and expired insurance as of November 2023. Traffic stop was initiated and the officer made contact with the driver, the defendant, and the defendant did not have a driver's license due to outstanding tickets. The defendant had 18 outstanding.
I'm assuming it's still, have you run it?
18 warrants at that point. The judge isn't looking at your driving record. He's looking at your resume for a full-time job in crime.
Lately?
Mine not.
Mr. Espinosa, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm warning you now as a condition of your bond not to drive any vehicle whatsoever for any reason until you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name. You will be signing an affidavit. This is a promise that you're going to make to me that you're going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care if there's a burning building and you need to save 50 kittens. If you get into a car and drive, every time you do it, it's an offense in and of itself, punishable by up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine. Do you understand? Yes, sir. This is the affidavit you're going to sign. I don't care if you have to work. I don't care if there's a baby being born. I don't care if Jesus needs a ride to church. Do not drive. I'm going to have you come up here, swear that you're not going to drive. You have the ability to...
That line is iconic. The judge just made it crystal clear. No excuses, no loopholes. What do you think? Was this tough love or a little over the top?
Hire a lawyer, Mr. Espinosa. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
I hired one.
Judge, Ryan Levine signed out this morning.
Okay, I guess let's do this. I'm going to have you swear to us you're not going to drive. I'll get you to Victoria, sign a reset, and then we'll have you take a seat while we wait for your lawyer to get here. Do not leave until he gets here and we have you sign a reset and excuse you. All right? Come on.
Judge, counsel is a...
Mr. Sosa, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir.
On April 9, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, an officer was dispatched with a call for a suspicious person. The witness stated there was a Hispanic male at the back of the business causing a disturbance. The witness stated the male was intoxicated and threatened the employee. The officer went to the back and noticed the male arguing with several people. The officer gave several verbal commands for the defendant to stop. The officer told the defendant to be going to be detained for safety, and the defendant continued to walk away and stated, it's always the Hispanic trying to get this man. The defendant refused all verbal orders given to him. The officer noticed that while detaining the defendant, the defendant continued to say why for your verbal
What did he do? How did he interfere with anything? I didn't hear anything. Hispanic on Hispanic injustice or what?
Additionally, Judge, do we know that this was being told to him in Spanish? He's clearly not interested.
You're losing?
Your Honor, the only thing I have is
This is important. Interference with duties can sound vague. Usually, it means refusing orders, blocking police, or resisting. But here the evidence sounds thin. The judge clearly agrees.
Walking while Hispanic or what? No. I'm going to find no probable cause. All right, sir. There are people, when they drink, they become very happy. They are the life of the party. And there are people who, when they consume alcohol, they become the devil incarnate. If this is you, it's probably not a good idea to drink. Now, I'm finding no probable cause in your case, but be careful. You know, we have enough violence in this place as it is. All right? Please, take a seat for me. You are Miss Murphy Smith.
Yes.
Ma'am, you're charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Language barriers nearly got this man wrongly charged. Should every officer be required to have a translator when rights are at stake? Let me know in the comments.
23, a law enforcement officer was dispatched to a residence and made contact with the complaining witness. The complaining witness stated that the defendant and her mother took items from her vehicle and would not return them. The complaining witness stated that she had been contacted by a friend informing her of the theft, and that the defendant had stated she was going to spend all of the complaining witness's money and max out her credit cards. The complaining witness inspected her vehicle and found her belongings missing. The law enforcement officer spoke with the defendant over the phone. Excuse me, ma'am. And the defendant admitted to taking the items and when given the opportunity to do so. The approximate value of the items taken was $600.
Okay. Ms. Murphy Smith, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness, not to go where they live, and not to go near their car. These are your bond conditions. If you violate these conditions, a warrant for your arrest will be issued. You will go into custody. No more PR bonds. Do you understand, ma'am? Yes.
Yes, sir.
You have the ability to hire a lawyer, ma'am.
No.
We will have you fill out an application. I'll take a look to see whether you qualify. If you do, we'll provide your lawyer today. Deputy Miranda's going to give you an application. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria. We'll have you take a seat in the jury box and then don't leave until we release you, ma'am. Okay? Please. Mr. Ramon, you were charged with theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
On April 9, 2025 in Harris County, Texas, an officer was dispatched to a theft at Target. The officer arrived and made contact with loss prevention employees who stated they observed two Hispanic females, later identified as the defendant and co-defendant. They were in the store selecting merchandise and placing items in their shopping cart, specifically concealing some of the items in a baby car seat while one was pushing the cart. While this defendant was adding merchandise to the shopping cart, she removed the price tags from selected items. Meanwhile, the co-defendant walked through the makeup department, selected 3 items, and placed them in the baby car seat, along with other items they had previously chosen. The co-defendant then proceeded to the jewelry department, where she selected a purse, and both females then moved towards the front of the store, approaching the cash registers without making any take the items in the car seats, and exited the store. Without attempting to pay for the merchandise in the shopping cart that the co-defendant was pushing. The defendants were positively identified from previous AFI smoke shop photos, and the total value of the items taken was $150.98.
It's Walmart?
Target, Your Honor.
Target. Mr. Ramon, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to go to any Target for any reason. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you do, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you. I'm also ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact, hang out with, or be with Ms. Monsivais. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you're hanging out with her, likewise, you will end up in custody. If you don't have anyone to pony up $5,000 to $10,000 to get you out of jail, you will be stuck like Chuck in there until this case is over with and of evidence. Do you understand? What do you do with yourself these days?
I stay home, taking care of my mom.
Stuck like Chuck, this judge has a way of making consequences sound like punchlines. But do you think that makes defendants take him more seriously or?
I stay home, taking care of my mom.
Did you graduate from high school? What are you going to do with the rest of your life, man? If you need something to do, this is not the right way. A theft conviction will kill because people know, you know, you need something to do. When people have too much time on their hands, they become self-destructive, man. You need something to do, and now's the time for you to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life. You only have so much time. Before you know it, 5 years will pass. If you've done nothing, you're either going to, hanging out with the wrong crowd, you're reliant on a man. You need to be strong as a woman. Never rely on a man. Knowledge is power. We're going to work on that. Do you mind appointing her a lawyer? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. We'll have you take your seat in the jury box. I'm going to find you a lawyer here, and then we'll figure out how we're going to go forward. Don't become a danger to our community. Don't hang around with the wrong people. They're just going to bring you down. You understand, man? Okay, come on.
This way.
Over, 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 and over. Now on our fourth. You now stand charged with prosecution.
On April 9th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, an officer is conducting an undercover investigation and observed the defendant walking on the side of the street. The officer observed that the defendant was exposing part of her breast and made contact with the defendant. The defendant asked the officer if the officer was the police, to which the officer replied he was not, and the defendant gestured her hands a 100, indicating $100. The officer, whose training experience recognizes to be a tactic used by prostitution workers to mitigate verbal conversations because they are aware of police reporting tactics. The officer then whispered 100, 104. The officer gestured a closed fist, entering and exiting the officer mouth to indicate oral sex. The defendant then nodded her head up and down to indicate a yes response. The defendant then told the officer to get a room in a nearby hotel. The officer stated the defendant gestured a 2 and 5 to indicate the price of the hotel room. The officer left the scene and gave the predetermined bus signal, and the defendant was detained. The officer stated the defendant was positively identified using her FBI.
Okay. I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case, ma'am. Here's what we're going to do. I'm putting a monitor on your ankle now, and I'm forbidding you from going to any street from these cases that you've been on. If I find that you do, I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail, and I'm going to make your bond.
And that's the shift, from punishment to pressure. The ankle monitor isn't just about control. It's about forcing a new direction. Tough love or just survival mode in the justice system.
On high. It stops today. Do you understand? The next thing that we're going to do, I will appoint your lawyer, but it's time for you to get a real 9 to 5 job. One where you actually work, get up, go to work for 8 hours, and then go home. I'm going to bring you back in 2 weeks, and I want to see what you have done to fill out a gajillion applications. If nothing gets done,